To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So I thought I'd come down and feed the chickens some bread. They always like bread. Now what's interesting is these are the Buff Orpingtons and Frenchie. We don't know what Frenchie is. From the very first time I ever did this with them, when they were like 3 or 4 weeks old, they just went nuts. As a matter of fact, I made a YouTube short video, a 30-second video. They weren't very old. They were still in their little cage inside the house when it was cold. Of course, I've used up all my bread, but the new ones we got here, the New Hampshires, they don't do this as much. They don't feed from you and they don't seem interested in you. But what I find amazing is these guys seem more tame. Now, here's the thing. The Buff Orpingtons are supposed to be like pet friendly. They're supposed to come up to you. They're going to want petted. That's what all the web pages say about Buff Orpingtons, the ones over there, the big ones. But they don't. They're very standoffish. These guys, on the other hand, I have no problems picking them up. I mean, they get a little flappy, but not near as bad as these guys did when they were the same age. These guys, they would crawl on me, but if I tried to pick them up, boy, they didn't like it. These guys, they don't seem to, I don't know, it's just different. I expected these guys to be real standoffish, hard to catch, but it's just the opposite. I can catch these guys real easy. The Buff Orpingtons, I wasn't able to. I sure do enjoy this. I've been really thinking about the chickens and how hard it is and what's the struggles. And the way I see it is, a lot of people have pets. They have dogs and cats. And dogs, cats not so much, but dogs are really hard to take care of. I mean, if you think about it, they got to go out. They got to be taken care of. They require a lot of attention for a long time. Cats, on the other hand, you can throw them some food, some kitty litter. It's all good. And so if I was making a comparison between chickens and house pet, I would say chickens are more like cats. They pretty much take care of themselves. You throw some food out to them, some water, and they're happy. Let them come out and run during the day. Of course, you got to watch out for predators. Somebody's going to say, oh, you already had a problem with the dogs in your neighborhood. That was different. No animal has gotten into this chicken run. It provides us enough time to come out and look at them, make sure they're okay. Now, I know I'm using chick wire. A lot of people say don't use chick wire, but they go inside at night. We put them inside the coop at night. There's nothing going to get in that coop. But the thing about the one that got killed was Carolyn was holding it. The dog jumped on Carolyn. The chicken was outside the coop. I don't want to say it was Carolyn's fault. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying the circumstances in which that happened is not the normal circumstances. The Buff Orpingtons we got at Orscheln's, and we raised them inside because I wanted to get started early. And so it was a little bit difficult getting them from this age to that age because we had them inside. Of course, we had a small house and it was constant. They were always in your way. Not saying I regretted that. I'm just saying we wanted to make sure that we got eggs this year before the winter hit. These guys, we was able to pick up at a little farm for $5 a piece. A little bit more expensive, I think, than Orscheln's, but doing this during the summertime is a lot easier, or springtime, I should say. We don't have to worry about temperatures. These guys were 6 weeks old when we got them. They can come out in 50-degree weather. So we've been putting them out in the camper at night. We've not had any problems with these guys. I pick them up in the morning. I put them in here. Now, the bigger chickens, they don't treat the little ones nice. They peck them in the head, so we've got them fenced off here. I don't know if you can see the green netting, but we got this green netting, and you can see that hen. That hen is constantly trying to get at them. I'm hoping that when these guys get bigger, they'll be able to defend themselves against that hen. Really, it's not a lot of work. And we've got the Buff Orpingtons trained. You saw the bread. Carolyn goes on the other side. She opens up the nesting box door. It lifts up. She throws in a piece of bread. All the chickens run inside. And I shut this outside door. And they roost all night. And then I get up in the morning at 6:30. I open the door. They come out and they start eating. About every 3 or 4 days, we have to move the tent, the run. We don't have to. We just do. So they get fresh grass. Then we'll have eggs that we can eat. I would encourage you to do something like this if you're looking for an off-grid lifestyle. Do it in the backyard. A lot of municipalities now allow you to raise hens, not roosters, because they're so noisy. Now, in the state of Missouri, as long as you don't take the eggs off the property, you can sell eggs without a permit. So you hang a sign, people could come and buy the eggs. You can get $2, $3 a carton from them. Now, if you decide to go to like a farmer's market or take them to work or anything like that, then you have to have a permit. But if you tell people at work, hey, come on over, I'll sell you some eggs, they can come over, that's legal. Now I was able to build this coop, and I used metal, probably, I don't know, around $200. I use 2x2s now. Of course, lumber prices are really high right now. And I use this metal. The metal was at the time $12 a piece. If I were to do it today, I use that PVC that I used on the well house, the PVC roofing material, because it's a little cheaper. This is $18 now. It used to be 12. That PVC is 14. So a lot cheaper. We bought this thing. It's solar powered, and at night I can turn it on and it makes a screeching noise. What that does is it scares off predators. It's a motion sensor. At night I just put it right here in front of the door just in case there's a predator. I don't think anything could ever get into the chicken coop. It's made out of metal. Last night it did go off. I shined a flashlight down here. I didn't see anything, so it must have scared it off. Oh, by the way, Carolyn and I decided we're going to put the lawnmower up underneath the overhang of the camper. We're going to close that up, the front end of it. I'll be able to drive in and drive out. Now, the other question I get a lot is property. Where can I find property? I've heard people say, I've been looking for years, can't find any property. Another one I hear a lot is, I'm looking for 22 acres and, just all kinds of things. Carolyn literally started, I think it was August 19. Don't worry about the year. Just think about the months. She started looking in August of whatever year it was. And by January, she had found 2 places that we were extremely interested in, and probably another dozen that we were half-heartedly interested in. The first place we looked at and almost bought was 10 acres, and it had a well on it, and an old broken down cabin. The cabin had fallen down, and a stream, a year-round running stream. That place would have been extremely nice. And it was $7,200. I liked the stream because we could have put hydroelectric in it. It would have just ran an electric generator. We'd have had 24-hour, 7-day-a-week electric, DC electric, charge some batteries. It would have been unlimited. Whereas with solar panels, you only get electric on, really sunny days and during the daytime. We've not had any troubles with solar, but hydroelectric would have been a lot easier. Then we found this place for $4,200. Now, there was 2 things that we required. We had to have the ability to get internet, preferably through a cell phone, because if we'd have done anything else, we would have to have had all the equipment that goes along with having a modem and all those things, the Wi-Fi, and that would have been a lot of electric that we'd have had to deal with. However, we would have had the hydroelectric. And the other thing it had to have water. Well, both these places have water. When you're looking for something, look for something with water, whether it has a well or a stream, something. If you can find something with water, you're in good shape. Of course, like I said, both places have well. We decided not to get the other place. It was going to need a lot of work just so we could get onto the property. We'd had to get a bulldozer and everything. We like this place a lot better. Now, our criteria is obviously a lot different than others. A lot of people see off-grid living as you got to be 1,000,000 miles away from somebody, and I'm telling you, I just don't know if that's realistic. The little farm that we went to with the little chicks for $5 a piece, the New Hampshires, they probably had 2 acres, but there was people all around them out there in the middle of the country. I mean, we drove way out there in the country. It was a gravel road, but there were still people around. My grandma and grandpa had 20 acres, and their neighbor was 100 yards away. That wasn't an old gravel road. So I don't think it's realistic that you're going to find a place of your dreams. And I think that's why people can't find property. We found this place, it was 1.5 acres, and there's a lot of people around, but they leave us alone. It's out here in Missouri, and Missouri is very standoffish. They're not really willing to say, okay, yeah, we're all going to be best of pals and we're going to be neighborly and all that. They leave us alone. I put up a no trespassing sign, haven't had anybody on the property, people leave us alone. If we go into town to buy something, everybody's friendly, they know who we are, we're friendly to them, but they don't bother us. I think the criteria that you're looking at, it may be just too hard. But then you also have to look for, areas that are going to allow you to live off grid. Tennessee, Maine, Missouri are probably the top 3. I would guess, Maine's going to be pretty cold. Missouri and Tennessee can get cold. So my suggestion is if you're going to look for property, get on Facebook Marketplace. And I've heard people say, oh, I don't get on Facebook. Well, make an exception. Get on Facebook so you can look for property. If you're really interested in buying something, you gotta be willing to go through the effort. I recognize you don't want to be on Facebook. I don't like Facebook. And the other thing about Facebook Marketplace is you can find a lot of free firewood. Start looking in Tennessee, Missouri, Maine. Yeah, Texas. People talk about Texas. People talk about Arkansas. There's a lot of things that Texas and Arkansas do to prevent you from doing it as free as in Missouri and Tennessee. But with our 1.5 acres, we have everything we need to be self-sufficient. And that's what we were looking for, to be left alone and to be self-sufficient. Got our chickens, got our water. We were able to build a tiny house without any restrictions. So I hope I can inspire you to find the place of your dreams. Thanks for watching.